Hello, welcome to our Recap Plus channel with me, Matthew. Today we will watch a recap movie called The Informer, released in 2019. This is a spoiler content video. So please turn on the subtitle and let's start the story. A security guard is conducting a routine check of a basement area when he encounters a repairman who claims to be inspecting the wiring. However, the guard insists the repairman shouldn't be there and requests to see a work order. Shockingly, the repairman responds by stabbing the guard, catching him off guard. In a workplace, a meeting concludes, and employees begin making their way towards an elevator. Unbeknownst to them, someone inside the building anonymously presses a button, causing the elevator's cables to snap and the lift to descend rapidly. Panic ensues among the passengers trapped inside as they plummet. The police arrived promptly on the scene to assist. Lieutenant Mack briefs his team, informing them that there are 13 passengers stuck in an elevator below the 30th floor. The situation takes a sinister turn as a bomber demands a ransom of $3.7 million, threatening to detonate the elevator's emergency brakes if his demands aren't met. The police now face a race against time, with only 23 minutes to defuse the situation. Realizing their only access to the internal portion of the building is through access panels, the officers recognize that the elevator hatch has been rigged to trigger the bomb. Officer Jack and Detective Harry volunteer to take action. However, the nearest access panel is on the 32nd floor, and they hurriedly make their way to it, entering the shaft and discovering it perched atop the elevator. Inside the elevator, concerned passengers inquire about the situation. Jack and Harry, posing as LAPD officers, try to reassure them by explaining it's a malfunction. Unbeknownst to them, the bomber, Howard, listens intently to their conversation. Amidst the tension, Harry engages Jack in a hypothetical scenario, questioning what he would do if a gunman were using a hostage as a shield while making their way to an aircraft, and Jack was 100 feet away. Jack responds that he would take the shot to eliminate the hostage, preventing the gunman from boarding the plane and harming other passengers. Harry finds Jack's response unconventional. Jack devises a strategy to remove the passengers from the equation, eliminating any leverage Howard may have. He suspends himself upside down with a cable and attaches a hook to the elevator. However, before they can act, Howard becomes aware of their plans and triggers the bomb, causing the elevator to plummet and the passengers inside to panic. The hook Jack attached is connected to a crane, but due to excessive pressure, it collapses, causing the elevator to plummet before coming to a stop once more. Jack swiftly drills open the access panel and reaches out to the terrified passengers, carefully guiding them to safety one by one. Among them, a particularly frightened woman requires special attention, but they successfully rescue her as well. As they continue their efforts, Jack and Harry realize that the bomber is somewhere within the building. They receive information that he is hiding in the freight elevators and decide to sneak up on him. However, Howard opens fire on Jack and Harry, trapping them in the elevator. He taunts Jack while holding Harry hostage, forcing them to exit the elevator. In a desperate move, Jack shoots Harry in the leg to create an opportunity. Subsequently, Howard detonates explosives in the area. Later, Harry and Jack are honored with medals of valor in an official ceremony for their courage and dedication, commended for saving the 13 citizens trapped in the elevator. The police officers reflect on their successful mission, recognizing their fortune in surviving Howard's potentially deadly scheme. Following the ceremony, Harry heads home, while Jack stops for coffee and muffins in Santa Monica. There, he strikes up a conversation with a friend who happens to be a bus driver. As his friend drives away, his bus inexplicably explodes. Jack rushes after the bus, bewildered by the sudden turn of events. Nearby, a payphone rings, and when Jack answers, Howard is on the other end. Howard reveals that he spent 2 years planning the elevator incident, which ultimately failed. He emphasizes his unwavering commitment and states that he got Jack's attention by blowing up the bus. He demands the $3.7 million and inquires what Jack would do if a bus were rigged with a bomb that would explode if its speed dropped below 50 miles per hour and was armed when the bus initially reached that speed. Jack responds that he would need to know which bus it is. Howard insists that Jack plays by the rules and discloses the bus's location. He instructs Jack to ensure that no passengers exit, warning that he will detonate the bomb. He sets a deadline for the money, 11 a.m. Subsequently, a woman named Annie boards the bus traveling downtown from Venice. Jack, in hot pursuit, races after the bus, trying to catch up. Inside the bus, passengers remain calm, primarily concerned about reaching their destination on time. They slow down due to traffic, while Jack desperately tries to stop the bus. He commandeers a stranger's car and recklessly follows the bus. Meanwhile, the bus exceeds 50 miles per hour, triggering the bomb. Jack alerts the driver about the bomb and instructs them to maintain a speed above 50 miles per hour. He contacts Harry, revealing that the bomber is still alive. Jack manages to board the bus, attempting to inform the passengers about their dire situation. A tense moment arises when a man brandishes a gun, prompting Jack to draw his weapon in self-defense. He wisely holsters his gun and takes charge of the situation. As the agitated man with the gun begins to calm down, a passenger named Ortiz intervenes. Tragically, the gun accidentally discharges, striking the driver and inflicting a severe injury. In a clear and urgent voice, Jack reveals the presence of a bomb on the bus. Annie takes control of the steering wheel as the police prepare to take action, mobilizing helicopters for assistance. Meanwhile, Howard gleefully observes the unfolding events on television. Jack and Harry engage in a conversation by phone, during which Jack describes the bomb's intricate setup, a substantial amount of C4 explosives, 3 triggers, and a timer set on a gold wristwatch. They strive to maintain a speed above 50 miles per hour, enduring collisions and obstacles along the way. Annie does her best to keep the bus moving forward. Howard closely monitors multiple news channels and watches American football, reveling in the chaos. In the meantime, Harry and his colleagues discuss the bomber's expertise, noting his use of various bomb designs and extensive knowledge of police countermeasures. Harry decides to review files of officers from the past decade, believing that the bomber is likely a disabled individual who resides nearby and may not be associated with the LAPD. Mac, stationed in a helicopter, guides Jack to ensure their safe passage and rendezvous with police units. A challenging sharp turn approaches, but with the collective efforts of Jack and the passengers, they navigate it successfully. The authorities are poised to rescue the passengers, while the bus follows the prescribed route. Jack shares a grim truth with Annie: the bomber is not after them but is specifically targeting him. The bomber thrives on toying with law enforcement, turning their lives into a series of deadly games. Jack knows that if he saves everyone today, the bomber will create new challenges tomorrow. Harry directs his colleagues to investigate pension funds, suspecting that the bomber may be disabled and nearby. He has a feeling he has encountered the bomber before. Mac and the authorities arrive to extricate the passengers from the bus, but Jack cautions against it, fearing that the bomber will spot them and trigger the bomb. Mac informs Jack that the bomber might have a law enforcement background. A call from Howard interrupts their conversation. Negotiating with Howard, Jack successfully persuades the bomber to allow the wounded driver to exit the bus. However, a desperate passenger named Helen attempts to escape to reach the authorities, and Howard detonates a bomb at the front of the bus. Tragically, she falls from the bus and disappears underneath it. Inside the bus, tensions escalate, and passengers begin arguing with each other, their anxiety growing. Jack checks on Annie, offering consolation, as she is deeply affected by the recent explosion. Grateful for being alive, she also grapples with feelings of guilt. Jack reassures her, explaining that if Helen had left the bus, Howard would have triggered the bomb, endangering everyone on board. Mac informs Jack that there's a 50-foot gap in the road due to the unfinished freeway. To bridge this gap, Jack decides they must maintain a speed above 50 miles per hour, as the upcoming interchange might have an incline. Jack instructs the passengers that when they hit the gap, they should keep their heads down. As the bus reaches the incomplete section of the interchange, it goes soaring over the gap and miraculously lands on the other side. Relief and jubilation fill the bus as passengers congratulate each other on their survival. Jack directs Annie to head for the exit leading to Los Angeles International Airport's air cargo terminals. The choice of the airport is strategic, as it allows them to evade pursuit by helicopters and keeps Howard in the dark about their whereabouts. During a phone conversation between Jack and Howard, the bomber demands his money, asserting that he has earned it. Howard mentions that he received a medal along with a pink slip and an apology for an injury to his hand. Jack persuades Howard to let him disembark from the bus alone to engage with the authorities directly. Reluctantly, Howard agrees, with the condition that Jack returns promptly without double-crossing him. Jack instructs Annie to keep circling the airport runway while he goes to negotiate with the authorities. He contacts Mac, who suggests evacuating the passengers, but Jack is concerned that Howard might blow up the bus, given his knack for staying one step ahead. Jack decides that he needs to defuse the bomb. Inside the bus, passengers are bewildered by the turn of events. Jack stays in touch with Mac, who informs him that they won't be able to maintain their current course for long. Jack reassures them that he only needs a few minutes. Harry provides instructions through the phone as a cable is attached to Jack. Sliding under the bus on a mechanic's creeper, Jack begins the intricate work of dismantling the bomb with Harry's guidance. They realize that bypassing it isn't an option, as it's a collapsible circuit. Meanwhile, the authorities identify the bomber as Howard Payne, a former member of the Atlanta PD's bomb squad who retired in 1989 after a mishap left him with 9 fingers. Harry and his team decide to go after him. Amid his efforts, Jack gets stuck under the bus, and the bus swerves wildly. Ortiz volunteers to help him, and they work together to free Jack. In the process, they accidentally puncture the fuel tank, causing further complications. An alarmed Annie believes she may have run over Jack but continues circling the airport. Jack struggles to hold on as the cable breaks, putting him in a perilous position. Ortiz comes to his rescue by opening the bus floor and pulling him to safety. Jack instructs Mac to seek assistance to address the fuel tank issue. At Howard's house, Harry and his team search but fall into a trap when they trigger a bomb inside the building. The explosion claims Harry's life in the line of duty. Jack receives a phone call, assuming it's Harry, but it's Howard on the line instead. Howard coldly informs Jack of Harry's death and mocks the fact that the gold wristwatch he attached to the bomb as a retirement gift may have led Harry to him. He repeats his threat, emphasizing that they'll all die if he doesn't get his money. During their conversation, Howard refers to Annie as a wildcat. He provides a location for the money drop-off. Noticing Annie's University of Arizona shirt, Jack realizes that wildcat is a reference to Annie. This implies that Howard can somehow see inside the bus, although he has video footage but no sound. Jack instructs everyone on the bus to act naturally and maintain their focus ahead. They record a tape of the bus's environment, creating an illusion of a monotonous scene. Mac interrupts live broadcasts and plays the loop tape of the bus. Meanwhile, the authorities successfully evacuated all the passengers from the bus. Jack and Annie are the last to exit. They engage the bus's locking mechanism to maintain its speed and eventually escape using the bus floor's opening panel as a makeshift support. The bus collides with a freight plane and erupts into massive explosions, which the passengers witness from a safe distance. Jack and Annie are safe and receive medical attention. Howard calls once more, demanding his money. The authorities realize that he's unaware of the bus explosion. Mac assures Howard that they'll bring the money in 30 minutes. The authorities surround Howard's location and secure the area. Jack and Annie are transported in an ambulance, but Jack decides to leave temporarily. The authorities plant a paint bomb with the money, and sanitation workers place the bags in a trash can. Howard notices the authorities positioned at various vantage points, weapons aimed at the money collection site. He attempts to trigger the bomb on the bus but soon realizes that he has been fooled by the loop tape playing on TV. Pretending to be a police officer, he seizes Annie and takes her away. As the authorities wonder about Howard's whereabouts due to the uncollected money, Jack, who knows he's always punctual, discovers a hole under the trash can that Howard used to escape with the money. Jack locates Annie in a subway area surrounded by bombs. Howard appears and forces Annie to fill a bag with the money. Jack pleads with Howard to take the money and spare Annie, but Howard callously discusses the nature of bombs and their destructive potential. He eventually departs with Annie, continuing his reign of terror by shooting his weapon and boarding the subway. Jack manages to board the moving train just in time. Howard kills the train's driver and torments Annie with his heartless speech, telling her that the explosion will be less painful. However, Howard discovers the paint bomb hidden in the bag of money, leaving him frustrated. A one-on-one fight ensues on the roof of the train between Jack and Howard. During the fight, Jack smashes Howard's head against a railway signal, causing him to fall off the train. Mac informs Jack that the track ahead is incomplete. Unable to stop the train, they are forced to jump off. Back on the train, Annie is handcuffed to a pole. They attempt to free her but are unsuccessful. Jack decides to accelerate the train and deal with the situation as it unfolds. Seated together, they brace for impact as the train hurtles towards a turn. The train splits into several parts upon impact, with their section landing outside the construction area on the road. Miraculously, they survive the ordeal. As onlookers are mesmerized by their survival, Jack and Annie share a kiss, relieved and grateful to have made it through. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. You can also click on the videos on your screen to watch more interesting videos. And please share your thoughts about today's video in the comments down below. Lastly, always remember to stay safe and stay healthy. See you in the next video.